ups and downs, man, right? It is every day it's it's an up and then it's a down, up and down. So you got to be able to weather those ups and downs. One day, oh my god, everything's amazing, and then the next day it's like, oh my god, the world's on fire, So
Mm.
you have to be able to weather those storms if you're an entrepreneur.
Love it. Welcome back to the Rubasha Family Podcast. We are here on our World Series.
Marketing is all about storytelling. Dad, when we first started this business, what did you say to me?
I said, yes, we do a podcast
Why?
because I want to tell our story.
Why?
Because I know the story builds a legacy.
Build a legacy. And that is exactly what we do here at ETS Rubasha Media. We market your story on social media so you could build a legacy for those who come after you, to build your business and your personal brand.
Yeah, follow us on our platform. Go on our website, etsrubashamedia.com.
This is about legacy, and it is about showing up on social media every single day, because if you don't show up, your competition will.
We are here still in New York. I'm actually in North Carolina at the moment. Our next location is Dubai, but we are here still in America, and I have the one and only Olga Topchayai. Now, she is an amazing person. Obviously, had a wonderful conversation with you earlier, helping companies innovate with AI. You sit at the intersection of business, people, and technology. And those are three very important things I just said. You sit at the intersection of business, people, and technology, which is quite valuable. Obviously, you've transitioned into that domain after a long and vibrant journey into diverse marketing and product roles. And now your approach with AI integration, really from a practical perspective, ensuring that the custom AI software products that you guys build for your clients and also coaching them on them are aligned with their strategic goals. Now more than ever, people are wanting to be caught up with what's happening. How can they use AI in their businesses, right? We use it in our business. The reason we're having is this podcast is also through AI, one of our sponsors. So I'm so happy to have you on the show. And thank you just for being so passionate and vibrant about what you do and how you're solving problems in the marketplace.
Hi, thank you. So happy to be here.
Thank you so much. So, Olga, I know I gave quite a little bit spiel about who you are, but can you tell us a little bit of your background, in the business world, or just as a person? Doesn't have to be just business. We are all human beings at the end of the day. So, yeah, just a little bit about you and how you got to where you are now.
Yes, absolutely. So my background is in marketing and product. This is something I was doing for over 10 years. And then in 2022, I went on parental leave. And
Mhm.
as I'm getting ready to come back, this is when like the worst tech recession hits. So for people who aren't in tech, they were having the time of their life, post COVID. But tech, everyone is getting laid off left and right. So instead of crying myself to sleep every night in a corner, sending off resumes into a dark hole, I decide I'm going to take a step back and hang out with my baby and reassess my career. And that's when I discovered generative AI. So this was before the ChatGPT boom. The dominant model back then was DaVinci 2, and then DaVinci 3 had just come out. For people who are unaware of these models, it is like fancy autocorrect in comparison to what we have now.
Mhm.
And even then, I knew right away this is going to transform just the way we work, the way we search, the way we do everything. And I'm thinking, why is nobody talking about this? Where is the media? Where are the developers? Where are the businesses? Where is everybody? Why is everyone just quiet? And I said, I have to figure out a way to get into this field. But nobody's talking about it. How do you do that? Right. So I'm out there, watching YouTube influencers and sitting on like dark corners of the internet on Discord servers and, reaching out to professors and anyone and everyone who I can talk to that understands anything about this technology. Because at that point, nobody did.
Hmm.
And I finally got my foot in the door as a prompt engineer for one of the early companies to monetize on the OpenAI technology. It was a company called CopyAI, and that was a contract. And the contract ended when ChatGPT came out. But then another contract came up, and this time on the product side for an AI company. And then another contract came up for an insurance company doing prompt engineering. So all these contracts kept coming up, and decided, okay, it's now time to start my own company. So I launched Lapis, and I had, I realized that I have the AI side and prompt engineering. I have the product side, so I understand where AI can fit. I have, the business background. But at the end of the day, in order to be truly competitive, you need to actually be building products. So what do I do? Because I'm not a developer, I hire developers. I have a team of developers in US and UK who I had built incredible trust with throughout my journey. And now we are offering a full suite of solutions. So we build custom AI software for businesses, specifically looking to reduce costs. We aim to reduce costs by at least 30%. And then soon after, I realized, well, that's not enough, because you can have the best technology, the best AI strategy. But if your people aren't using it, or they're not using it right, you just blew a bunch of time and money out the window. So that's when I decided to launch AI coaching and training. And whether it's something that we build or it's off the shelf solutions, we will train your people on how to get the most out of AI. And that's where the human element has to come in, because it is absolutely crucial. You can't just implement AI and say, okay, now we have AI, right? Somebody has to actually use it, and people need to know how to use it. And that's where things frequently will fall apart, is at that human component. So now we do AI coaching and training. And now we're able to offer a really full suite of solutions for businesses. So we can cut costs without cutting staff.
Oh, I like that you said we can cut costs without cutting staff. Now, you potentially could say some staff, because maybe some can go potentially if they can completely replace that role. But I like the way you said how obviously humans have to play that important element. It's just like, for example, when we have a sales rep, we have an AI sales rep within our company, but it's still us human prompting. That script is everything. If we prompt a value-driven message and teach it how to reply that it's actual human, then, but you're not replacing the human, you're just obviously they're training the AI. So you just said, like, for example, you give custom prompts. Like what capacity do you do that? So if I'm a company, how can you help me? What does that even mean for someone who might not know what that mean, and how does it help their business in
Yeah,
2025? Because just before I
absolutely.
ask you this
So
question, we
a
saw it with
company
Amazon, we
will
saw it
come
with
to us and
Microsoft,
say,
all these
hey, this is a
companies.
challenge.
Mhm.
Sorry, you cut out for a second there. So
Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, 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 that's okay. I was just saying how the companies have letting go of so many jobs that was recently came out in the news. But
Oh, yes. So I think that is a terrible idea. First of all, let me just full disclosure, to implement AI and then say I'm going to fire my entire workforce or a whole bunch of people. It is an absolutely horrible idea, and it is not something that we advise doing, because what happens when you do that? Then you have a bunch of projects that were up in the air that, well, who handles that now, right? Like, someone still has to handle that. You have people who are now depressed and are not motivated to do the work because a bunch of people around them are being laid off. They're now worried about their job. So now they're probably out there thinking, well, I need to go look for work. They're half checked out because they're looking for work instead of doing work.
the
That's
work.
definitely going to happen. And it becomes a mess. So that's not what we recommend. Why I specifically say without cutting staff, yeah, okay, maybe you can let go an intern or two or something like that. But what you really want to do is, it's not just about eliminating some parts of the job. Then what you do is you retrain your workforce and you put them where people are most effective. Where are people most effective? Sales, strategy, management, customer relationships. That's where people are most effective. So you put AI where AI is most effective, in things that are slow, where it is expensive, where it is error prone. Those are things that AI can take over. And then you put people where people succeed. And then you can really have people focus on your bottom line and driving your revenue, right? So this is where it is definitely a change management component involved as well, that we can help you walk, guide you through that. But it's a complete change in mindset that companies really should be adopting. Don't think I'm going to implement AI and then I let go of a bunch of people. It's like saying I'm going to buy Microsoft Office and then I could let go of all my people. Somebody's going to have to type,
Someone has
So
to do it.
yeah, so the way that you would work with us is you would come to us and you would say, here are some areas where my company is struggling. Maybe it's sales, maybe it's, overhead costs, maybe there are some processes which are incredibly slow, paper-based, for example. Maybe your people are struggling in certain areas, for example. Maybe, it takes a long time to onboard employees, right? It takes a long time to train them in certain functions, that can be very, very costly for companies. So we'll see where exactly are you struggling. And then we will see, do we build or do we buy? Right? There are plenty of AI tools out there. And we will figure out, does it make sense at your size, your budget, your data, your scale, your resources and your actual problem and your workflow? What are your people doing day to day? What are they typing in? What are their processes? What buttons are they clicking? So we will look at all of that and we'll say, okay, are there AI solutions out there that we can quickly implement? Maybe it's a matter of just getting them to do better prompting. I don't know. Some companies implement ChatGPT, their people are using it, but they're not getting the best outputs because they're just not typing in the right prompts. For other companies, it can be much more complex than that, where we will need to build custom AI software for them. For example, we will take, let's say, your entire company knowledge base of 3, 4, 5, 10, 100,000 documents, however large your database is. And we will build a custom AI solution that will allow you to interact with that data and ask questions of that data. Anything from what is my PTO to what is a certain job that we've done for a customer so that you can get that information easily, to maybe we automate entire workflows, reports, things of that nature, right? There's a lot of reporting takes so much time, right? Research, for example, a lot of companies spend a ton of time on research. So we'll see, is that something that is actually required? Or can we get away with maybe just a few off the shelf tools to get you some of those quick wins? But whatever it is, we will determine one quick win and we will start from there and then we will scale. I will never say, hey, let's AIify your entire operation overnight, because that is a sure way to fail. So start
Mm.
small, one use case, one team or one department, and then we can layer from there.
Mm. I really love the way you laid out exactly what it is that you do and how you help. Also, can you talk to us about the coaching side as well on how you guys coach AI?
Yes, absolutely. So we work with both individuals and companies. And in a very similar way, we will assess what it is that you're trying to get better. So a team might come to us and say, hey, we're struggling with maybe creativity in outputs, or we are struggling with reporting taking a very long time. And then we will go out there and find a suite of tools that are off the shelf, or if maybe they're already using something, right? So we'll say, hey, can you coach us on ChatGPT or on Canva or Photo or Gemini or whatever it is that they're using, right? Can you see, is there a way that we can just make these processes better so that we can get better outputs, right? We can build out a prompt library for them so that things are repeatable. And what we will do is we will have small workshops, so groups of 5 to 8, where first we do an intake with each individual person so that I can understand where is that specific person in their AI journey. Everyone's AI journey is unique. It's impossible to gauge how advanced someone is ahead of time, right? You need to have that individual kind of session with them. So we'll do a session anywhere between 10 minutes and 1 hour, depending on how deep a company wants me to go. And then we will design a workshop around that specific problem, around the goal that they are trying to accomplish. And so we will do these different workshops, and depending on the company size, we can start with one group and then we will expand to other groups. But that is how transformation happens. So you start with one group and then they become your poster children, right? Because they can get successful in just a matter of a couple of hours, and then they can show their peers, hey, look, I did AI and this training, and now I'm using AI and I am so much more productive because this is how you do it. And then we'll move on to another group, and then another group, and then another group, right? So that is one way that we can work. Another way that we can work, if your company is already using AI and you say, hey, I just want you to give a lecture on a specific topic. For example, risk in AI, right? How to make sure that my people, when they're using AI, they're considering all of the risks and they're considering compliance and security, right? Then we can do, just a lecture, for example. And then the final way is for individuals, where we do one-on-one coaching sessions, much like you would work with a career coach or a diet coach, or however, whatever other kind of coaches there are. There's plenty of coaches out there.
Yeah, and really kind of it's that partnership and taking them through that journey. So let me ask you, what do you think most people are struggling with AI right now? And obviously it's a hot topic right now. That's why this is such a valuable conversation. Everyone's wanting to use it. For example, obviously a lot of people are using ChatGPT. What I see, for example, I see on LinkedIn now, everyone just kind of really, for example, copies and pastes everything from ChatGPT. It's like so obvious. I can't unsee it every time I see that. So like what we've done is like I'm very strict on that. Hey guys, none of our copy you think this has come from Chat. We want to personalize it so much it looks like us. I'll even purposely sometimes even do spelling mistakes in my copy just to show that human effect. Honestly, I'll do a spelling on paper on purpose. So because people are just now, it's like you just see it all over. So the reason why I'm bringing up that point is I wanted to ask you, because you're dealing with so many people in this space. Number one, who are majority of the type of companies you work with, individuals and companies? But number two, because I think it relates with everyone, especially in our audience, service providers, from all different industries. What are the mistakes, or what are the misconceptions people are getting wrong when it comes to implementing AI in their business that you're seeing at the moment?
Yes. So in terms of people I've worked with, we have been very diverse with the kind of people we work with. We've worked with anyone from CEOs that are just solopreneurs to companies that have 6,000 employees, nonprofits working with entire departments on IT and cybersecurity. So it's been very, very diverse. We've worked in industries ranging from AI startups to insurance to nonprofits, emergency preparedness, and construction. And it's been just really incredible just seeing how many people we can help out there. But in terms of what people are struggling with, I think is definitely generic AI outputs, right? Getting that output that you want from AI is a really, really big problem. And a lot of it realistically can be solved with proper prompt techniques. It is totally solvable. So I use AI, not always ChatGPT. I will frequently use Claude. In certain cases, Claude might be better for writing specifically, depending on what you're using it for. But either ChatGPT or Claude, I will use for copy all the time, but it doesn't look AI generated because of proper prompt writing techniques. There's things you can do, like give it exclusion criteria. So you know what AI writing looks like, and you can say, don't do that, right? That in and of itself will already give you, is half the battle, for example. So giving it exclusion criteria. Then there's certain approaches you can use. You can do things like using emotional language, for example, which opens up the creativity element of AI, as opposed to having it rely only on its training data. And the training data is bad copy and bad copy specifically from South Africa, which will use language like delve. Delve would never appeared anywhere in America until like 2023 because it's used in South Africa because that's where it was trained, right? So you have to kind of know these things, and these are the things that we would train people on. But yes, definitely AI output is a big struggle for people. Knowing which tool to use, you have to use the right tool for the right job, right? Just because you have a hammer doesn't mean everything is a nail. There are thousands of AI tools out there, maybe more, maybe hundreds of thousands at this point. I don't know. There's a lot. Knowing how to find the right tool, and I can teach the tool selection framework. It's called Impact. So I developed a proprietary tool selection framework that I teach my customers, and it'll help you understand how do you even know which tool to choose to begin with, right? And then training on different tools, and then figuring out, okay, well, now I know how to prompt, I know how to use the right tools, and now do I build or do I buy? That's a really big, tough decision that a lot of companies don't always know how to figure out. And this is what we will also figure out together. Do you build or do you buy? And there are like actual criteria that we can go through. There's a methodology that we'll go through to decide, do you build or do you buy? For example, you can look at things like, how much do you need to scale? What does your data look like? What is your budget? These are all of the kinds of things that you would consider to see, do you build or do you buy? And that's the final decision that a lot of people really struggle with. How much do you try to, hammer away at the same problem before you decide, no, like this tool is not actually the right thing, and I don't know if the right thing out there exists, and I really need something custom made.
Mm. Yeah, and I think it's you get a lot of, especially within our business, where there are people who would rather throw money at the problem instead of time. They would rather throw
Yeah.
money at the problem instead of me trying to figure this out by myself. Let me bring in an expert to help me, whether it's content, whether it's AI, and get me where I need to be in, because it's just a matter of how you're using it effectively, because it's just there's such a huge opportunity now. You can have with AI a team of 5 6 can be a team of 50 60 with just having AI and having everyone use it effectively. So do you see this as is one of the biggest like opportunities in business at the moment?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If you're not using AI, like your competitors are, I guarantee that. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And what's the next phase? What's your next mission and vision over this next decade? What do you see and what are you trying to work on every day?
I give people back more time.
Time.
So
I like that.
I used to measure, I was on another podcast recently, and the host asked me, how do you measure success and has that evolved? And I used to measure success in money, and now I measure it in time, because I think that is really the true definition of success. How much free time do you get to enjoy? How much free time do you get to enjoy with your family and doing the things that you love, and with your friends and your pets, and I don't know, going to read a book, take a walk, watch the opera, whatever it is that moves you, right? And so this is what I want to do for people. And I think AI can do that without cutting back on quality of life in any way, or taking people's jobs away, or anything along those lines, any of those horror stories that you read.
Hmm. I mean, I love that. Give people time. So that's really is that somehow a little bit when they come to you? Is that also what they're like buying? Is that time freedom, so everyone is freed up within their company, themselves as CEO,
You're
whoever. So that,
sorry, you cut
is it
out
cutting
for a
out?
minute there.
Oh. Hello, did I cut out?
Yeah, you did. Sorry.
I think it's because I've moved. I was in a very very strong Wi-Fi location, but I thought it's still pretty good here. But no, I was
Okay.
just saying. I think that's what people are buying when they come to you is time, right? Like how everyone can get time within their team so that the operation can move efficiently. Is that kind of correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do more in less time, you know?
Yeah, do more in less time. Okay, I want to play a small game with you. I will say a word, and then you got to reply with one word, whatever comes to your mind.
Okay.
So,
Let's do
for
it.
example, like AI, what would come to your mind?
Innovation.
Explain.
Um, I think that the pace at which we're moving is just incredible. The innovation that's happening is almost like lightning speed. It's almost impossible to keep up. And every day it's just more innovation, more innovation, more innovation. That's really the best way that I can describe it. It's almost impossible to keep up. um New technology coming out every day, new tools, new advances, new things that we're learning every single day. That is, it is completely unprecedented. Just staying on top of things is a full-time job, right? So that's why I say just innovation everywhere.
Innovation, innovation. I love it. Entrepreneur.
Perseverance.
Ooh, explain.
I mean, it's, ups and downs, man, right? It is every day it's it's an up and then it's a down, up and down. So you got to be able to weather those ups and downs. One day, oh my god, everything's amazing, and then the next day it's like, oh my god, the world's on fire, So
Mm,
you have to be able to weather those storms if you're an entrepreneur.
I love it. CEO.
um Perseverance.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I was thinking, yep, yep, yep. Perseverance.
Same reason, same
Yeah,
same thing.
you got to persevere. Automation.
Oh, time. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna, for two reasons. Because A, it gives you back time, but it also takes time to get it right. It doesn't just happen overnight. Like people think, oh, I'm gonna automate something and then it is just like easily done. No, like it's hard work to get automation right, to get it truly automated. It is tough, tough work. And like you still need a human in the loop. Like I we don't advocate for 100% automation. There should still be a human check no matter what. There should still always be a human check. So yeah, we're not there yet. Give it time.
Mm. I really love the way you said that. I really love the way you said that because it's so true. Like I've been looking even in our business, how can we automate this process so well? And like you said, still have a human where it needs to be, but we have SOPs for that. As long as that automation is in place, it's valuable. I hope you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Listen, you get, 30, 40, 50, 70, 80%, right, out of automation. Like that's incredibly valuable. It doesn't have to be 100%. I think that's another mindset shift that people really need to think about. Like, does it have to be 100%? 100% is going to be very, very costly and very, very, very time consuming and very error prone. Right?
Yeah, yeah. But I just love how you said it's not something that's very easy. When people do sometimes think of automation, it should be easy, right? We should be able to get this. But no, like you said, it may take that bit of time. But once you get through that, you're able to, like you said, if you're able to do 60 to 80%, that's pretty good. Okay. And people,
Necessity.
explain.
we will always need people. Like, I am constantly reading doomsday stories about, how AI will replace people and we will never need people. And I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Like, there is a reason why companies will pay 50, 60, 70, $80,000 premium to have a human rep for their B2B SaaS, as opposed to just another automation. Like, there's a reason for that, because people want to talk to people. At the end of the day, that's what they want. And I don't know, maybe at some point down the line, generations change, priorities change, but at this point, like, I just don't see any way where, being deep in the weeds of like building the technology and seeing what the technology is and is not capable of, what people want and what they don't want. And people want to talk to people. That's why you always try to get to a human whenever you call tech support, right? Whenever you're calling any company and you're, on hold, you're just like, get me to a human, get me to a human, right? People want to talk to other people. Um, People want to be out among other people. That's what they want. And so there will be a premium on human labor. Maybe, yeah, maybe you can automate returning your shoes. So those kinds of jobs, there will definitely be job losses to AI for sure. But just like we no longer need, I forgot what that profession was called, but the person that went around lighting candles around the town, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the people who, were like horse and buggy drivers, right? The new jobs became available. We're gonna have new jobs available, and I think that this is the kind of stuff that's beginning to emerge right now. So I see what the technology is capable of, I see what it's not, and I think people are always just going to want to interact with other people. So yeah, jobs are going to get automated 100%. There is going to be job losses. But I just don't think that we're going to magically get rid of all people, in the next 5 years. And I see these doomsday stories all the time, and I just don't agree with them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what people need to hear. I think that's the message people need to hear. And, a lot of the people who have tuned into this will be able to get value from this. We'll upload this on the podcast later, for people to learn on how you can use AI, I think, in a way, in a good time frame for them to learn, okay, what are some simple things that I can do? I think you said a few of them, and we can get those notes in, to be able to use it. And if they need to be able to work with you and have a partner go through with them, just like you go to the gym, you need someone to help you within your business, to help you, especially now, that expertise in AI. So thank you so much for coming. And is there any kind of last words you want to leave for everyone who's tuned in, or who will see this after?
Yeah, just if you're not using AI, then just go and try it. The best way to get started is anytime you have the urge to Google something, ask ChatGPT instead. If you don't know how to get started, that's how I recommend getting started. And if you are using AI and you're not getting the output that you want, then feel free to reach out and we can work together. And I'm happy to take a look and see how I can help.
Hmm. I also have a potential idea what we can even do, kind of like what we've done here, like even do like a webinar where we can just, come in and have, again, and actually have live people within. And, like now people, when they see a webinar on Eventbrite, they're coming to learn that specific information. I think with AI, people still always need to have that. They need to be educated. And that's what, similar we're doing. So I do have an idea potentially once per quarter we can do a webinar and together, and boom, and you're kind of, when we were going through examples, instructions, how to use this, how to prompt this, how to, maybe something that people are struggling with. And I do have a feeling people will show up because they're searching for those solutions. And if we can just provide value to them, that'd be amazing. And they can ask questions, and then if they want to work with you from after, or either of us, then they can do so. So I think yeah, I think
Yeah,
this was good
absolutely.
to learn a
And
bit, and
I
then there's more
do
time.
both. Absolutely. I do both virtual and in-person workshops in New York. So, having a workshop, I'm having a free workshop coming up on Friday. I'll share the link with you. It's on my LinkedIn, but I'll share it again. And then I'm doing a paid workshop in New York City that's in person on December 4th. So I'll share that as well. So yeah, I'm definitely happy to do workshops.
Okay, cool. I'm also intrigued about and the free workshop are you doing? Do you put that online, stream it? How does that work?
So the one that I'll be honest, I'm moving away from free workshops just because it
I know.
takes a very long time. So it's gonna be very rare that I'm gonna be offering them. It'll be only if it's like in very, very large platforms. But the one that I'm doing right now, that's gonna be on through Discord, the Discord server. So people will have to register on Discord and join the server. It's called Furlough. Um, and that, but I've done them on like through Zoom, things like that as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm just thinking potentially like even that's like recorded somehow, and then we can share it and share it to sell upsell people on the paid workshop, and then kind of still have that kind of commission structure. So okay, how many people can we get to if we show them that recording? Can
I
they
mean,
pay for the?
I have recorded workshops already,
Mhm.
so I can give you the links to the ones that are to the recorded workshops. I can share those with you. Um, I honestly like don't want to do any more free because I think that the conversion rates are fairly low. Like most of the ones I've noticed, like it's mostly like free low. People just trying to come and get like a free training for the most part. It's better to do a low cost workshop, like 30, 35, 20, 30, $35, something like that. It's very, very close to free, right? Like it's still like pretty low, but at least they're already committed to something, you know? So you will probably get similar turnout, or even if the turnout is less than that, at least these are already committed, serious people. Because in these free workshops, you'll get students, you'll get like just people from countries that definitely cannot afford my services. You'll get all kinds of stuff, right? Um, so I would that's why I'm moving away from the free, but I'm happy to share the recordings with you. I'll share the one that I did a week ago, no, a couple of weeks ago. It's on my website actually, but I'll give you the link, and then I'll share the one that I'm doing on Friday, and so you can just show that to people. And then when then we can do see if we can use those because those are already recorded.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's do that. Okay, we'll be in touch. I'll get your number through
All right.
email, and then we'll go from there. But thank you. This has been
Sounds
awesome. It's
good.
already gone live on LinkedIn, so let's go.
If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to click here, and I'm sure you're gonna love that one.